The police had no idea they were making the biggest mistake of their lives until they attacked a blind girl and her loyal K9 service dog, and the truth left everyone in shock. It was a peaceful day, like any other. The pair strolled down familiar sidewalks, and neighbors waved as they passed, their hearts warmed by the sight of the brave little girl and her heroic companion. Neither of them knew that within minutes, their quiet world would shatter. Something unthinkable was coming, an event that would not only test their bond, but also shock everyone who witnessed it. Lily and Max approached the bustling intersection, the faint echo of honking horns and rumbling engines surrounding them. Max paused at the curb, his body tense but steady, waiting for the right moment to guide his little partner across. Lily felt the slight shift in his posture and trusted him completely, stepping forward when he gently nudged her leg. On the other side of the street, several police cars were parked in a cluster, lights flashing red and blue. Officers moved quickly, scanning the area as part of an ongoing operation. The tension in the air was almost invisible to most people, but Max sensed it instantly. His ears flicked, and his muscles stiffened under Lily's small hand. The moment they stepped onto the crosswalk, a sharp command rang out. "Stop! Get back!" An officer shouted, his voice urgent and firm. Lily froze, confused. She couldn't see where the voice came from, and her heart began to race. Max barked once, a loud, protective sound that echoed off the buildings. Several officers turned toward them, startled by the bark. To them, it looked like a dog lunging aggressively while a small child followed. One officer raised his hand, signaling the others. "We've got a situation here," he called. Lily clutched Max's harness tighter, fear creeping into her chest. She didn't understand what was happening, but she felt Max's body shift defensively, his low growl warning her that something wasn't right. The air grew heavy, and the first wave of danger loomed. The officers misread the scene entirely. From their perspective, a large German Shepherd was barking aggressively, leading a helpless child into a restricted area. Panic surged through the line of police as they reacted to what they thought was a threat. One officer stepped forward, his voice sharp. "Control that dog now." He barked, but Lily only froze, trembling, unable to see where the danger was coming from. Max positioned himself in front of her, lowering his body protectively. His growl deepened, a warning to anyone who dared come closer. The little girl's voice cracked. "Please, he's my service dog. He's helping me," she cried. But her words were drowned out by the tension and the pounding of feet as officers moved in. Then, in an instant that would haunt everyone, the situation escalated. A loud command was shouted, and one officer swung a baton toward Max to drive him back. The strike landed hard against his side. Max yelped, stumbling, and Lily screamed. Her grip on the harness slipped as she tried to reach him. The chaos exploded around them, sirens, shouts, and the sound of people gasping. Max tried to crawl back toward Lily, his body trembling, his eyes still locked on her like a lifeline. The officers realized too late that they had made a terrible mistake. Lily knelt on the asphalt, tears spilling down her cheeks, her tiny hands desperately patting her injured companion. "Please, someone help him," she sobbed, her voice breaking the hearts of everyone watching. The street fell into stunned silence, broken only by Lily's sobs and Max's low whimpers. Passers-by froze on the sidewalks, their phones raised, as they recorded the heartbreaking scene. The flashing police lights painted the pavement in red and blue, a cruel spotlight on the tragedy unfolding in the middle of the crosswalk. A woman in the crowd cried out, "She's blind. Can't you see she's blind?" The words cut through the confusion like a blade. Officers hesitated, their expressions shifting from alarm to horror as the reality sank in. They hadn't seen the white cane clutched in Lily's tiny hand. They hadn't realized Max wasn't attacking. He was protecting. One officer knelt, guilt flooding his face as he reached toward the injured German Shepherd. Max's breathing was uneven, his fur smeared with blood, but his eyes never left Lily. He licked her hand softly, as if to reassure her, even while pain racked his body. Lily's voice trembled as she begged, "Please, don't let him die. He's all I have." Her words hit everyone like a punch to the chest. Even the officers who had acted now stood frozen in shame, while bystanders began shouting for medical help. In the distance, The wail of an approaching ambulance grew louder. The crowd parted to clear a path, urgency sweeping over everyone. But for Lily, each second felt like forever. She pressed her forehead against Max's fur, whispering, "Hold on, please hold on," praying that her guardian angel would survive this nightmare. The ambulance screeched to a halt, and paramedics rushed out with a stretcher and medical kits. The flashing lights reflected in Lily's tear-streaked glasses as she clung to Max, refusing to let go. "He's my best friend," she whispered over and over, her voice shaking. One paramedic crouched beside her, his tone gentle. "Sweetheart, we're going to help him, but we need a little space." Reluctantly, Lily released the harness, her trembling hands hovering near Max as if letting go would make him disappear. The paramedics worked quickly, assessing the German Shepherd's injuries. "He's in shock," one said urgently. "We need to get him stabilized fast." They carefully lifted him onto a portable stretcher, and Lily scrambled to her feet, gripping her white cane. "I'm coming with you," she said, her voice firm despite the fear in her chest. The crowd watched in heavy silence as Lily and Max were loaded into the ambulance. One paramedic guided her to sit next to him, placing her small hand on Max's. "Paul, keep talking to him," he said softly. "He needs your voice." She leaned close and whispered, "You're going to be okay, Max. Please don't leave me." Outside, the police officers stood frozen, the weight of guilt pressing down on them. Passers-by recorded the ambulance as it sped away, sirens wailing, and whispers of disbelief rippled through the crowd. Everyone knew they had just witnessed something unforgettable, an innocent child, a loyal dog, and a mistake that could cost everything. The hospital room was quiet except for the steady beep of the heart monitor. Lily sat in a chair beside Max's bed, her tiny hand resting on his paw. His fur was shaved in places where the doctors had treated his injuries, but his chest rose and fell steadily. She whispered softly, "I'm here, Max. I'm not going anywhere." Doctors had worked tirelessly to stabilize him, and now the worst seemed over. A kind nurse knelt beside Lily, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "He's a fighter," she said warmly. "And I think he fought so hard because he knew you needed him." Lily smiled through her tears, leaning closer to kiss the dog's head. Hours later, Max's tail gave a weak thump against the bed. Lily gasped, joy flooding her chest. "He's waking up," she exclaimed. The room filled with relief as doctors confirmed he would recover fully with time and rest. When the officers who had hurt Max arrived to apologize, Lily simply hugged her dog tighter. "Just promise no one will ever hurt him again," she said softly. In that moment, everyone knew this bond was unbreakable, one small blind girl, and her loyal K9 hero, stronger than ever. Days later, the entire city buzzed with outrage. Videos of the incident went viral, showing a blind girl clutching her injured service dog while officers struck him. News outlets ran the story nonstop, and thousands demanded justice. "Protect, don't harm," read one trending post, with Lily and Max's photo at the center. An official investigation began immediately. After reviewing the footage, the police department suspended the officers involved and issued a public apology. The chief personally visited Lily at the hospital, promising that those responsible would face charges and that new training for handling service animals would begin. When Lily stepped outside with Max, now healing and wagging his tail, dozens of supporters cheered. Strangers handed her cards, flowers, and treats for her hero dog. With the sun warming her face, Lily hugged Max tightly. "We did it," she whispered. This time, both justice and love had truly prevailed.